Disrespect rarely enters a relationship like a thunderstorm. It slips in quietly, disguised as honesty or humor, and often tolerated under the excuse of "that's just how she is." But make no mistake, the moment a woman begins to belittle you, to dismiss your opinions, or to use words that chip away at your sense of self, she is telling you how little she values you. And if you allow it once, you silently grant permission for it to happen again and again. A relationship that tolerates disrespect cannot grow into love. It will only corrode into resentment, bitterness, and self-doubt. There is a dangerous illusion many fall into, the belief that enduring disrespect is somehow noble, that patience or tolerance will eventually win over her heart. But this is a lie. Enduring what diminishes you does not transform it into love. It only teaches her that she can treat you without reverence and still keep your loyalty. Love without respect is hollow, and when a woman's words consistently undermine your worth, she is not speaking carelessly. She is revealing her truest perception of you. Think about it. Words are not neutral. They carry energy, intention, and meaning. If someone close to you continually tells you that you are not enough, that you are lacking, or that your very being is somehow deficient, those words sink into the subconscious. They begin to shape how you see yourself. Slowly, you start living down to her words instead of rising beyond them. That is the silent poison of disrespect. It doesn't just destroy the relationship, it destroys the man within it. You must understand that respect is the foundation upon which love is built. Without respect, love cannot last, because admiration, trust, and desire all flow from it. If she cannot honor who you are, if her tongue becomes a weapon instead of a bomb, then what you have is not love. It is domination, it is control, it is an erosion of your spirit masked as connection. So when a woman consistently uses her words to tear you down instead of lift you up, don't excuse it as honesty, don't rationalize it as passion, and don't confuse it with love. Recognize it for what it truly is, the absence of respect. And in the absence of respect, there is only one choice: walk away with your dignity intact. Because the man who stays where he is not respected slowly loses himself, but the man who leaves regains his soul. When a woman looks you in the eyes and says, "I don't need you," she is not merely stating independence, she is declaring that your presence, your effort, your role in her life is unnecessary. And while independence is a beautiful quality, what she is communicating in that moment is something very different. She is telling you that she does not value partnership. She is telling you that what you bring, your strength, your guidance, your protection, your vision, has no meaning in her world. That kind of declaration should never be ignored, because it reveals the core of how she perceives you. A healthy relationship is not about dependence, but about interdependence. It is about two people who, though fully capable on their own, choose to walk together because they see the value in each other's presence. True strength in a woman does not come from denying the place of a man. It comes from embracing partnership without losing her individuality. When she tells you she does not need you, she is rejecting that interdependence. She is announcing that she sees no value in the dynamic of two building a future together. And if that is her truth, then she has already disconnected herself from the very essence of what makes a relationship thrive. There is a deep psychological danger in staying with someone who voices this. Because over time, those words plant a seed in you that you are replaceable, that your efforts mean nothing, that your presence holds no weight. And once you begin to internalize that, you unconsciously shrink yourself to fit the role she has cast you in, unnecessary. But a man who sees himself as unnecessary loses his drive, his mission, his sense of purpose within that relationship. Love does not thrive where it is dismissed. Companionship cannot grow where it is unwanted. The greatest partnerships are not forged by one declaring independence over the other, but by two people who both say, asterisk, I choose you, not because I can't live without you, but because life is better with you, asterisk, so if a woman tells you she does not need you, take her at her word, believe her. And leave, because the moment you remain in a place where your presence is unwanted, you surrender the very respect that makes you a man. And nothing is worth that loss. One of the clearest signs that a relationship has no future is when a woman dismisses or belittles your vision for your own life. If she looks at your dreams and calls them foolish, if she hears your goals and mocks them as unrealistic, she is not only doubting your ambition, she is doubting you. A partner who cannot see possibility in your future is already holding you back in the present. And the truth is, you cannot build a meaningful life with someone who refuses to believe in where you're going. Dreams are not just fantasies, they are the compass that gives a man direction. They provide purpose, fuel discipline, and shape the identity he strives toward. To share those dreams with someone is to reveal your inner world, your deepest hopes, and your willingness to strive for something greater. When her response is cynicism or ridicule, she is telling you that your growth threatens her comfort. Instead of standing beside you, she positions herself as an anchor, pulling you back to mediocrity so she does not have to confront her own fears of change. Psychologically, this is devastating, because when you repeatedly hear that your ambitions are meaningless, you begin to question them yourself. Slowly, you abandon the very drive that gives you strength. You trade your vision for her approval, thinking that shrinking yourself will preserve the relationship. But in doing so, you betray yourself, and a man who betrays his own dreams to keep someone else happy will always live in quiet resentment. Philosophically, this is not just about goals, it's about alignment. A relationship is not merely two people sharing space, it is two people moving in a shared direction. If she cannot honor your direction, then you are walking together only in body, not in spirit. That is why dismissiveness toward your future is not a small red flag. It is a flashing warning that she cannot, and will not, walk with you into the man you are becoming. So when a woman tears down your vision instead of supporting it, take it for what it is, a refusal to grow with you. And a refusal to grow with you is the same as a refusal to truly love you. Respect yourself enough to walk away. Because the man who abandons his dreams for someone else abandons the very essence of who he is. There is a profound difference between love and manipulation, and you can often hear the truth in the words a woman chooses. When she begins to tie her affection to conditions, when she says things like asterisk, if you don't do this, I won't love you, asterisk or asterisk, if you don't change, I can't be with you, asterisk, she is no longer offering love, she is bargaining with it, and the moment love becomes a transaction, it ceases to be love at all. It becomes control dressed up as intimacy. Think carefully about what that means. Real love is given freely, without the need for constant proof or performance. It is not earned by meeting a checklist of demands, nor is it withheld like a prize until you conform. Love, at its core, is unconditional in its essence, even though relationships require boundaries, effort, and compromise. When someone makes their affection contingent on your obedience, they are not loving you. They are managing you. They are placing a leash around your spirit and calling it romance. Psychologically, this creates a cycle of dependency. You begin to chase approval, to measure every action by whether it will win you affection or avoid rejection. Slowly, you lose the ability to act from your authentic self, because you are too busy performing to satisfy the shifting conditions placed upon you. That is not partnership, it is enslavement, and worse, it strips away the dignity of both people, because love that must constantly be earned will never feel secure for either. Philosophically, conditional love is a contradiction. Love by definition must be chosen freely, not coerced. It must come from a place of truth, not fear. If she claims to love you only when you meet her demands, she is not loving who you are. She is loving a version of you she has constructed for her own benefit, and that is not sustainable, because no mask can be worn forever. So if you hear her words tying her affection to ultimatums, understand that you are not standing in love. You are standing in a contract of control. And contracts of control always end the same way, with one person drained and the other dissatisfied. Never confuse manipulation for love. Walk away from conditions disguised as care, because the man who must beg for affection will never truly be loved. One of the clearest signs that a relationship has no future is when a woman dismisses or belittles your vision for your own life. If she looks at your dreams and calls them foolish, if she hears your goals and mocks them as unrealistic, she is not only doubting your ambition, she is doubting you. A partner who cannot see possibility in your future is already holding you back in the present. And the truth is, you cannot build a meaningful life with someone who refuses to believe in where you're going. Dreams are not just fantasies, they are the compass that gives a man direction. They provide purpose, fuel discipline, and shape the identity he strives toward. To share those dreams with someone is to reveal your inner world, your deepest hopes, and your willingness to strive for something greater. When her response is cynicism or ridicule, she is telling you that your growth threatens her comfort. Instead of standing beside you, she positions herself as an anchor, pulling you back to mediocrity so she does not have to confront her own fears of change. Psychologically, this is devastating, because when you repeatedly hear that your ambitions are meaningless, you begin to question them yourself. Slowly, you abandon the very drive that gives you strength. You trade your vision for her approval, thinking that shrinking yourself will preserve the relationship. But in doing so, you betray yourself, and a man who betrays his own dreams to keep someone else happy will always live in quiet resentment. Philosophically, this is not just about goals, it's about alignment. A relationship is not merely two people sharing space, it is two people moving in a shared direction. If she cannot honor your direction, then you are walking together only in body, not in spirit. That is why dismissiveness toward your future is not a small red flag. It is a flashing warning that she cannot, and will not, walk with you into the man you are becoming. So, when a woman tears down your vision instead of supporting it, take it for what it is, a refusal to grow with you. And a refusal to grow with you is the same as a refusal to truly love you. Respect yourself enough to walk away, because the man who abandons his dreams for someone else abandons the very essence of who he is. There is a difference between a partner who sets boundaries and a partner who uses the threat of leaving as a weapon. When a woman repeatedly says, if you don't do this, I'm gone, she is not communicating in good faith, she is leveraging fear to control you. That is not love, it is coercion, and while it may keep you compliant in the short term, it will hollow out the relationship in the long run. Because love cannot flourish in an atmosphere of insecurity. It needs stability, not constant ultimatums. The psychology behind this behavior is rooted in manipulation. By threatening abandonment, she forces you into a reactive state where your decisions are no longer about what is right or authentic, but about what will keep her from leaving. Over time, this corrodes your confidence. You begin to live on edge, constantly questioning whether your actions will be enough to stop her from walking away. That is not partnership, that is captivity, and notice the deeper irony. Someone who truly intends to leave does not announce it over and over again. They simply go. A constant threat to leave is not about departure. It is about dominance. It is a strategy to remind you that she holds the power, that your position in her life is conditional, unstable, always at risk. And the moment you accept that, you place yourself, worth in her hands. Philosophically, a relationship should be a sanctuary, not a battlefield. It should be the place where you feel most secure, not where you're forced to prove your worth every day under threat of abandonment. Love, by its very nature, requires trust. Without it, what you have is not intimacy but negotiation under duress. And no soul thrives under constant negotiation. So when a woman wields the threat of leaving as her weapon of choice, understand the truth. She has already left you in spirit. The relationship is no longer about love. It is about control. And if you allow yourself to remain in that environment, you will slowly lose your sense of self until you are a shadow of the man you once were. Never remain where love is weaponized. If she must keep you in fear of losing her, then she is not truly yours. The man who values himself does not cling to someone who threatens him. He walks away with dignity intact. One of the most revealing moments in any relationship is when a woman begins to openly compare you to other men. If she says things like, asterisk, why can't you be more like him, asterisk or asterisk, I wish you had what he has, asterisk, she is not simply making a passing comment. She is exposing a lack of admiration for you at the core. And admiration is not optional in love. It is the very soil in which desire and respect take root. Without it, the relationship begins to wither. Think about what those words actually communicate. Comparison is never neutral. It implies that who you are as you are is insufficient. It places you on trial against an imaginary standard you did not agree to. Over time, if you allow it, those comparisons begin to echo in your mind, creating doubt and insecurity. You start to wonder if you are truly enough, or if you must constantly compete for her approval against men who aren't even in the room. That is not love. It is psychological erosion. From a philosophical standpoint, the moment a woman admires another man more than the one she chose, the integrity of the relationship is broken. Love cannot thrive where there is disloyalty of the heart, because loyalty is not just about physical fidelity, it is about emotional allegiance. When she starts to openly admire others while diminishing you, she has already shifted her emotional energy elsewhere. And if you remain hoping she will stop, you silently agree to live in the shadow of someone else. True partnership is about affirmation, not comparison. A healthy woman does not look at her man and wish he were someone else. She looks at him and sees the man he is becoming, with all his flaws and potential, and chooses him. When admiration fades, respect dies, and when respect dies, love soon follows. So if she plants seeds of comparison in your heart, do not water them with excuses. Recognize them for what they are, signs that her loyalty, her admiration, and perhaps even her love no longer belong to you. A man must never stay where he is treated as an option. Walk away, because the moment she compares you to another, she has already told you who she truly wants. Believe her words and free yourself.